This meeting of July 15, 2020 is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law and was included in the list of meetings notice transmitted to the Two River Times and the Asbury Park Press and posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building in the borough and on the borough website on July 13, 2020. The meeting notices remain continuously posted as the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Official action may be taken at this meeting. Proper notice having been given, the municipal clerk is directed to include the statement in the minutes of the meeting. Please be advised that due to the current state of emergency and public health emergency declared by Governor Phil Murphy pursuant to executive order, in an effort to prevent further spread of COVID-19, the general public will be excluded from Borough Council meetings until further notice. The public will be able to participate in all Borough Council meetings by video conference. A link for the live stream will be posted on the Borough website, www.highlandsborough.org. Members of the public will be able to give public comment during relevant portions of this meeting. And I'll call the roll. Councilmember Braswell. Councilmember Mazzola.
Here.
Councilmember Valkos.
Here.
Council President Ryan.
Here.
And Mayor Brion.
Here.
All are present, a quorum is formed. First up on the agenda is Gertrude Ederle Park renovations.
I'll start that off. I'm not sure if everyone has been up there recently or if you guys have seen some of the overhead shots that Kim sent out today. I know she sent it out a little bit late. It's a park that hasn't been touched in quite some time. Over time, that chain link fence has been leaning more and more, and more sort of goes into the side, leaning down the hill. It's just another one of our parks that needs a little bit of attention. I don't think a great deal. The road is all, the pathways are all made from asphalt, which I don't know what anyone was ever thinking, other than that it was probably a cheap fix at the time. But themselves and being able to do such little improvements such as that, and adding a fence. I know the club had some interesting ideas of what to do going forward, but I just wanted to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to the eye and safer with sinking those poles for a new fence that was like the one in the Vets Park to have a more uniform look. And that way it's number one, it's safer, and it's just a little bit more attractive, and it won't cost a lot of money. So I just wanted to start off with that, and then if anyone has any other comments.
I'm not picking you up, Councilmember Mazzola.
I do agree with Carolyn. The asphalt there are cracks, and some areas are raised and lowered and whatnot. So I agree. And it is, besides that, the Garden Club does a wonderful job there. So the park looks beautiful with the exception of, a little bit, it needs a facelift.
So what were they talking about for replacing the asphalt? Are there any ideas? Because what's the idea of replacing the asphalt?
Replacing the asphalt with concrete and replacing the chain link fence with a black aluminum fence that's similar to what's there at Vets Park. But to just have, real concrete footings so that it's not just falling off the side of the cliff.
Would the fence that's at Vets Park be safe enough on that type of hill? Like, could anybody, it can't get through it, right? I know it's like the wrought iron fence, right? Like the wrought iron type fence? Okay.
The stringers are very close. Sorry. The stringers are quite close together.
I've been having all this noise behind me, I can't hear, but I am in favor of improvements to Gertrude Ederle.
Excuse me, Ken.
Can't hear me either?
No, unmute.
Done. You can hear me now? Okay, so yes, I am in favor of improvements to Ederle Park. And there's another park that gets a lot of neglect. That's the one on Miller Hill. At a different conversation, the Lions Club wants to play a role in doing improvements there. They want to raise some money, do some things there.
Absolutely agree. Frank Hall Park has been overrun for quite some time. There's a really large amount of English ivy growing on a bunch of the trees, and half of the trees there are not technically trees, they're really weeds. So a lot of that can get cleaned out and possibly put some seagrass around, just something to make it look better. Seagrass is a very dense root system, so it's good to be on the slope. And then, as with any lawn, the more grasses you have, the less weeds choke them out, because the grass chokes out the weeds. So definitely, Frank Hall should be something to look at as well. That it's not necessarily very dollar intensive. It might be a little labor intensive, but it helps that the Lions Club want to help take on this project, which is great. And I understand Frank Hall is
Do we have a budget for Gertrude Ederle?
no, because I asked engineering to just take a look, but pouring asphalt and getting a new fence is really not a whole lot of money.
No, but the asphalt removal, how much? Yeah, I know. But the getting rid of the asphalt, how much of a problem is that? That usually seems to be the biggest project when you're having something done, is getting rid of the material, not adding the material.
After seeing what they've done, what we've done at the old Borough Hall, I don't think this is going to be a tremendous. Our Bible has arrived.
Our Bible has arrived.
I
Also-
don't think it's going to be a tremendous amount of money at
No,
all.
and also what they've done with the area for the new municipal building. They did all of that demolition and whatnot.
And it's all right.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like it needs a facelift. Replace all the asphalt. Looks dangerous.
And I know that the Environmental Commission is going to resubmit their plans again for the park up on the highway, Stymies. So Steve was waiting to get Steve Zalecki, some more information from the county landscape architect, and then he can come back with who's doing the budget and everything for the park.
Very good. Glad to hear it.
I did speak to actually, I can't hear anybody.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Just so you know, like, I can't hear anything. I don't have a plug.
I know you can't hear us, but we don't want to speak too loudly because then the audience can hear us screaming. So that's why I think we have the headphones in. We can hear, and if you can hear the reverberation throughout the speakers. You don't have headphones, right?
Can I sit away from you?
Yeah, well, mine's not. I mean, you can get on the camera.
Yeah,
But
I
we're
think
not.
you'll pick up my,
We're not hearing. Yeah. I think
yeah,
so.
you'll pick up my voice through that, right? I'm sure I'm seeing, as long as you feel me. So this is Kim, you cannot see me. Okay, so Ederle Park, I know, was one of the emails that I had gotten, and
Softer. Slower.
slower. Okay, so the recommended possible approaches that we could do for Ederle Park is to direct CME to look at it and to do an analysis of the downslope conditions. While they do that, they can look at the erosion and the soil loss. It's not an easy fix. I've already had them look at the area. There's some photos that CME was given and they took themselves. And they said that we have to come up with a plan to reconstruct the entire paved area. We would want to consider concrete or go back to asphalt, but there is soil erosion as well. So it's not going to be a quick, easy fix, but it's something that we definitely need to have the engineers involved with.
Doug, can you chime in here?
Absolutely. Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I did see some photos of the site today, and as I'm sure everybody is aware, the asphalt path itself it's settling on the downstream edge. I did not get a good look from the photos of what's happening below the path and the bench area itself. So I just we'd have to see what's causing the soil loss, and then see if we could lock it in at the surface level. I heard some recommendations for concrete. That sounds like a great approach. Maybe with some sort of haunched footing on the downstream edge, lock it all together with some welded wire mesh, and maybe even integrate that Jarrett black aluminum style fence that was mentioned as well, all in one. So I'd be happy to put together a cost estimate for you for consideration.
Please do so.
Thank you.
Doug.
Does anyone have any other questions about any of the other parks?
I have something to say. Based on what Doug said, I just have concerns about the cost because I sent it in an email. We have an outstanding open space grant for this area here. As everybody knows, it's a matching grant. So to me, it's really all about the finances too. We don't want to give up free money, so to speak, for this area.
It's not about giving up one for the other. We also have capital improvement monies. So that's where, and there's also money within buildings and grounds, as well as
I think when we originally talked about it, we talked about maybe using open space funds, email-wise. That's why I mentioned it.
And as far as stymies, we talked about applying for a grant with open space in order to get that paid for.
Did you touch base on
email about
Right.
open space is that I was clarifying for Mary Margaret that open space is not just for new projects, it's also for updating existing parks. She thought it was only for new, so that was just a separate conversation. It's in that email.
Kim, what were you saying?
Stymies work? I know that was also something that the Environmental Commission was working on a plan with Monmouth County on to come up with an idea for something that would also need budgetary funding as well, which I'm not sure if everyone knows what stymies is. I didn't know for a while myself. It's the lot that used to be an ice cream parlor many years back. Is that right? Okay.
Back in the 70s and 80s, that was the place to be.
Yeah.
They used to have a big ice cream cone on the top of it, and that's where we all hung out. And we could climb down the back steps to get downtown or up from downtown. And it was always hopping. Hopping. I said hopping, Cody, because I'm old.
Councilmember, you are not old.
For the record.
Is there anything else on the agenda?
There is nothing else on the workshop agenda. If someone wants to make a motion to adjourn to executive session,
I'll make a
or
motion.
or if there's any other topics of discussion, I have a motion from Councilmember Valkos, a second from Mayor Brion. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
So ordered. We enter executive session.